Welcome, everybody, to another episode of the Gig City Music Group podcast. I'm glad you're here. My name is Matt Kelly. I'm the founder of Gig City Music Group. And what I love is finding ways to give you, as a working musician, fulfillment and momentum in your craft. I love connecting musicians together. I love finding collaborations that need to happen. And I love helping you to just develop as a human being who loves what they do, who finds fulfillment in what they do, and who's making great art. Today, we're going to talk about something that actually poses potentially a threat to creating great art and finding human fulfillment in what we do, but also has the potential to make that flourish and to highlight people who really have the human aspect of what they're doing down. We're going to talk about AI and the revolution in the music industry that AI is already beginning to bring about. Now, before we talk about that, we need to talk about one thing. We need to talk about the two primary levers that you have as a musician, as an artist, when you're building a career out of this. You have one, creation, right? You are the person who makes the thing, who takes nothing and makes something out of it, right? You craft a song, or you craft a concert, or you craft an experience for somebody, right? You are creating something out of nothing. So you have the creation lever. But then the creation lever is great, but if nobody hears it, if nobody's there to see it or listen to it, then it's just going to sit in a vacuum. And so your other lever is distribution, right? You have to have a way for your music to get to the people who would be impacted by your music. All right. And so we're working with these two levers as artists all the time. And for most of human history, those two things haven't really changed much, right? You have a creative person who gets together either with some other people or just themselves, and they make a song, or they make a concert, or they invent an instrument, or they practice over and over how to play the thing on violin until they get it just right, and then they can deliver that. And then they go to their network and they tell people, hey, come and listen to my thing. Come and enjoy this experience, right? And that's how it's worked for most of human history, right? Things didn't really start to change until the 20th century. And in the 20th century, we had the advent of like physical media, right? Records, cassettes, CDs, and radio as well. You could consume music on radio. And so distribution began to undergo its first transformation, its first real deep transformation in the 20th century, right? The artist who was able to create something worth listening to and then get the most records in the hands of people who would want to consume that music is the one who wins, is the one who has that career, right? And so the game, the distribution game, was to have a great record and then to get connected with a label or get connected with a radio station or get on MTV or go to some of these big players that controlled distribution and hope to get that kind of attention so that you could sell your physical media. All right. But something happened toward the end of the 20th century that began to even more rapidly change that. That's the internet, right? All of a sudden, music could be online, right? And you could download things, right? Napster really was the one that started all of that off, but then you had, iTunes and all those others that followed where you could download actual copies of music that you owned to listen to. And so then the game became, yes, how can I sell digital copies of or how can I sell physical copies of my CDs and my merch and all that? But also, how can I optimize for downloads for my music, right? Then enter the biggest disruptor of all in distribution, streaming. And streaming has totally taken the music industry and flipped it on its head. Because what streaming has done is it's democratized access to music. And that's good and bad. because now all of a sudden you didn't have to rely on an A&R rep to get your music out there, or you didn't have to rely on getting on the right radio station or on MTV or connecting with like all these big name people who are gatekeepers, right? All of a sudden you as an independent artist can get your music out there to everybody. So the good news about streaming is that anybody can get their music out to everybody. And the bad news about streaming is that anybody can get their music out there to everybody, right? Because when access to music becomes democratized, then like all of a sudden, what people are incentivized to do is not so much make the best song, it's to get the most attention. And because like these streaming platforms are so saturated, it becomes extremely difficult to get the right attention. And we begin trying to find ways to serve the algorithm rather than serving the art. That's not great for artists, right? Because my guess is that if you're creating music, part of the reason that you're creating it is because you're creating something that's deeply meaningful to you. Now you can get it out there to people. But here's the other thing too. Streaming also takes the consumer and changes how the consumer takes in music, right? Because we've gone from owning music, from owning a physical copy of something, from owning a digital download to renting access to music. And we're paying for getting this on loan on a streaming thing. And so there's actually like less connection to the artist because of that. And these are all hurdles that we now have to overcome and navigate as artists because of streaming. Here in a second, we're going to talk about how AI just exacerbates all of this and actually introduces an even deeper level of disruption. And we're going to talk about some skills that you as an artist can develop to actually thrive in that. But we're going to take a quick break. We're going to come back and jump back in.
I've been feeling stuck in my own head lately. Can't shake the haze over me. Baby, it's enough to drive me
All right, everyone,
crazy.
welcome back. We're talking about how streaming has interrupted the music industry and turned it on its head. And we're about to talk about how AI is going to do that with orders of magnitude more. But before we jump back in, let's do our part. Our battle is not against flesh and blood. Our battle is against the algorithm. So help me join in that fight. Like, subscribe, share, and check out more of what we do on social media and at chatgigs.com. We want to help you as a working artist find fulfillment and joy in your craft. All right, so go do that. Help us fight the algorithm. Push all the buttons. Now let's jump back in. Streaming, like we said, has democratized distribution and access to music, but it has also incentivized the renting of music rather than actual ownership of music, which means that fans are less connected to their artists in general than they ever have been. And on top of that, there's just less money in it for artists because whereas you could sell a record or a CD for 10, 15, 20, 30 bucks, you know, every stream you're getting like a third of a penny, maybe. And so there's just not as much money in it on streaming for artists, and that makes it difficult. Now, there are pros and cons of that, right? Like the pros are you can make it as an independent artist. It's possible. It's just not easy. Here's the kicker though. AI is about to revolutionize the music industry in an even deeper way because for the first time in human history, we're going to have something that disrupts and democratizes creation itself. Right? Whereas like Spotify and these streaming platforms have taken distribution and changed the incentive structure and created a different supply and demand marketplace, right? AI is going to do that with creation, right? Even though like streaming became very cheap and the distribution of music became very cheap, you still had to have a real human making a real thing out of nothing, right? And you had to have that skill or that talent or that eye or that knack for it. You had to have a muse or an inspiration or something that you're pulling from, right? You had to have experience. That's all about to no longer be true, right? And even today, there's software out there where you can create a crappy draft of something pop it into Suno or something like that, and it'll create a polished draft for you, right? That means that you no longer need a mixing engineer if you want to have a track that sounds pretty good. You don't need to finish your lyrics. It'll write lyrics for you, and it's getting better and better. You know, I hear people say like, oh no, have you heard some of the lyrics AI comes up with? They suck. This is the worst it will ever be today. It's only going to get better. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when it's able to write a song better than you can. And I'm not saying that this is a good thing, by the way. Like, as somebody who writes a lot of music and who really enjoys songwriting and would like people to appreciate that, I don't really like the fact that there's a day coming when a computer program could probably write a better song than me. I don't like the idea that a lot of the engineers that I know that do awesome work are going to be doing a lot less work because of this. Right? It's not like it feels like doomsday a little bit to me and to a lot of the people that I'm talking to. But it doesn't have to be. Yes, sync is dead, right? Because why, if I'm making a commercial, would I pay somebody thousands of dollars to write music for that when I can pay $100 to get a good thing that's tailored specifically to that commercial and sounds really good, right? The incentive structure is just going to kill sync, right? You're not going to be able to get any headway unless there's somebody really specific who just wants to pay for a human touch, right? Which is going to be a luxury, not a commodity. Right. But then also just think about like streaming. I don't even think streaming is going to survive the disruption that AI is going to bring about, because there's going to come a time when people don't curate playlists or don't go with the playlist that the algorithm recommends. They're just going to say, hey, app. And they're going to speak this. They're not even going to have to like do any searching or typing. They're going to speak this. They're going to say, hey, app, I'm feeling this way today. Write me 10 songs that fit with that mood, and that'll help me get to this mood. And then it'll whip up right there in real time the songs that you need for that mood on that day. And if you've got like an Aura Ring or a smartwatch or something that's keeping track of your biometrics, it's going to be able to read your body temperature and like your blood, your heart rate and all of that stuff. And it's going to be able to figure out like if it's changing your mood or not and edit it in real time so it creates a song specifically for that moment. That experience for people, because it's curated in the moment specific to them, will actually most likely have a deeper emotional impact for them than if they were to know an artist and buy a physical copy of their music or listen to their streaming or anything like that. And so like loyalty to artists is even going to diminish even more on the grand scale, right? So are you sufficiently demoralized? I kind of am, but all of this, we have to think about supply and demand. I'm a huge fan of the free market, right? Wherever the market goes, wherever the incentives lie, wherever the competition puts somebody on top, I'm like, hey, more power to you. That's good. But this is difficult. But I'm going to tell you where I think the demand is going to come. Because when you have an increase of supply in one area, you inevitably have an increase of demand in another area. And the demand, more and more and more, is going to be human connection. In a world where so much of what we interact with is becoming more and more artificial, people are going to be looking for something that's real. And the artists that are going to be able to thrive in this big disruption are the artists who are the most real. The artists who have developed their people skills. The artists who are able to craft a story about their experience so well that it doesn't matter that the AI technically sounds better or has better lyrics. The people are connecting to your experience of the world. Right? So as a musician, as an artist, the skills that are going to be most important for you to cultivate going forward are not even necessarily technical skills. You should grow your craft. You should build your skill on your instrument. You should learn how to songwrite and to market and all of that. But on top of all of that, more than all of that, you need to learn how to be a real human. And that is difficult work, because what it's going to require you to do is to look at parts of yourself that maybe you don't want to look at. It's going to require you to do identity work, because you're going to have to be able to, 1, know who am I? 2, communicate to people, who am I? That's some deep work, right? And it's oftentimes scary work. It's oftentimes painful work, but it's the work that's the most real and the most raw. And it's the kind of work that's going to set you apart and allow you to thrive in this new music economy. So if I had any advice for you, I'm going to give you a couple of points. I'm going to give you 2 points of advice. All right. Point of advice number 1, learn some of the AI tools, right? Learn how to take some of these tools that are inevitable and use them to empower your human creation, right? Use them to manage your calendar. Use them to remove some of the administrative burden in your life. Use them to help you strategize about how to get your music out there, about how to connect to audiences, about how to tell your story. Use these tools to help enhance the things that are human about what you do. And then number 2, get to know yourself. Build up your emotional intelligence. Understand who you are. Figure out what your values are. Figure out what your worldview and morality that you're operating from is. And learn to be so understanding and okay and good with your identity that you can then communicate that and invite people into your story. People are going to want to connect to each other. You have the ability as a musician to curate the environment in which that human connection takes place. Live music is not going anywhere. Storytelling is not going anywhere. And in a world that's increasingly artificial, what's real is what will shine. So be real. Figure out what you need to do to make that happen. Ask the people who love you. And if you don't have good people around you, more now than ever, find those people. Here at Gig City Music Group, you can reach out to us and we'll help you find those people. If you don't even know where to start on looking inside yourself and tapping into what's real and developing your unique voice, we can help coach you through that. In fact, if I had to, at gunpoint, scrap everything else that we're doing with Gig City Music and just do one thing, it would be me sitting and coaching with people like you who want to figure out how to be more human and to express that in their music. So reach out to us, connect to some people, build your craft, be more real, because in a world that's fake, what's real matters. If that sounds like something you're interested in, don't wait. Don't just say I'll handle that tomorrow or next year or whatever. Maybe you have time, but maybe you don't. And I can tell you that even if you do have time, this kind of work is the most fulfilling work that I personally have ever done. So if that's you, if you feel like this is speaking to you and you're worried about navigating this change, don't wait. Go to our website, sign up for our newsletter, right? Join our Facebook community. We've got a group of members on Facebook that are sharing these kinds of thoughts and having these conversations all the time, right? Learn about different opportunities on our Facebook and our website about how you can get connected with real musicians in person and take that next step now to get connected. Now, as we end, I am a working musician myself. I'm a songwriter. I'm a hired gun. I play in bands. And I wanted to end by sharing something that I've created with you. This song that you're going to hear as we close out is a song that I've released this year called Change Comin' On. It's my hope that this song about hope for a better future is something that you can actually take and use as fuel to hope for a better future in general for your craft, for music, for art, and for what makes us human. Hope you enjoy.
stuck in my own head lately. Can't shake the haze over me. Baby, it's enough to drive me crazy. Thinking about how I made you feel and how I couldn't see. I don't know how we got into this place. All I know is it ain't new. Staying here for long would be a mistake, knowing something's gotta change and it's gotta move. Wanna do better, need to do better, gonna do better. Can you feel the change coming? Why would I wait for one more minute to right what I've wrong? Got better days in front of me, I feel a change coming on. Yesterday would be 10 times better, but yesterday's gone. I got better days in front of me, I feel a change coming on. Come on. Towards something brand new.